With regard to age, I can't even say, I guess how old I am, I can't even say the number. It doesn't register with me. And but the only thing I can say is that one of the things that people are going to find out, they're going to see a race, and they're going to judge whether or not I have it or don't have it. I respect them taking a hard look at it. I take a hard look at it as well. I took a hard look at it before I decided to run. And I feel good. I feel excited about the prospects. And I think we're on the verge of really turning the corner in a way we haven't in a long time.
All right, for more on that, let's welcome in commentary editor for the Washington Times, Kelly Sadler. Radio host Christopher Arps is with us this morning, and joining us in studio, former Homeland Security advisor and Newsmax contributor Charles Moreno. Great to have you all on this morning. Kelly, I could see you laughing as that soundbite was playing. Joe Biden with the black aviators on as he talks about this. According to an article in the New York Post yesterday, Joe Biden, who apparently now doesn't care about age at all, and we don't care about age when it comes to chronological age, but the question around Joe Biden has been since day one, does he have all his marbles? The New York Post reporting that Biden once attacked his 63-year-old rival for being too old. Biden bashed incumbent Delaware Senator Cale Boggs for being too old. He was only 63, which is 23 years younger than Biden will be at the end of his second term. He's lost that old twinkle in his eye. Joe Biden is quoted as saying, according to the Delaware Evening Journal, Joe Biden would go on to win that race in '72, and he's basically been in Washington ever since. Kelly, why did age matter back then when Richard Nixon was president, but all of a sudden with an 80-year-old who's going to be 82 on Election Day, it doesn't matter?
Age does matter. Anyone who says it doesn't is lying to themselves. Every poll shows that people, Democrats included, are concerned about Joe Biden's age. He's going to be 86 years old by the end of his second term if he fulfills it. And there's legitimate questions. Can he fulfill another, 4 years? We have questions of whether he can get through another 2. So this is a problem for him. But I almost think that the press is inviting this debate right now because it takes the focus off of his record and the disastrous policies that he's enacting. The wide open southern border, the high inflation, the war in Ukraine, destabilization around the globe in Sudan, in Afghanistan, et cetera, et cetera. He has a policy failure. But talking about his age, yes, that's one thing. Voters didn't seem to care about it during the last election when he ran from his basement. I think we should be focusing more on his policy failures.
Yeah. Charles?
Yeah, I mean, he demonstrates all the common signs of somebody who's getting older and as a result becoming way out of touch. And what this translates to the rest of the world and throughout the country is that he's incompetent, and that portrays that we are weak. We see that with the actions of our international adversaries, and we see it here domestically, especially related to public safety and our homeland security. I mean, he cannot grasp a way to resolve these tough challenges.
Chris, what's interesting is this is the administration, we've called them reactionary for the last 2.5 years. The media has been reactionary too. Politico with an article out, Biden versus Trump, okay, a race for the White House with actuary tables in the background. Politico is talking about actuary tables when it comes to our 80-year-old president. It's one of the greatest hesitations people have, and it's not just chronological age, it's the perceived age, the performance, according to Dave Carney, a longtime Republican consultant. Why weren't they talking about this at any time, Chris, over the last 2+ years?
Yeah. As a political, Rob, I don't have a problem really with a 29-year-old Joe Biden running against a 63-year-old opponent and trying to make age an issue. That's just part of politics. And if you look at Chuck Grassley, you look at Bernie Sanders, you look at President Trump, they are all in their 70s, and they seem to still have all of their mental faculties. When the Democrats talk about Joe Biden's age, what they're really talking about, does he have the mental capacity to do the job? And I think more and more as the days pass by, it's becoming evident that he doesn't.
Well, we'll see if it matters on Election Day, Kelly. It didn't make a difference in November. Yeah. By the way, Chuck Grassley, I just think this is interesting. He goes to every single county in Iowa. Whenever he's got a campaign, he's going to do so again this time around. He's 89 years old. The last time he was running, Kelly, remember he was doing push-ups?
Yeah.
Grassley. You know who else is 89 years old? It's Dianne Feinstein. But there are questions about her cognitive abilities right now. There aren't those same questions when it comes to 89-year-old Chuck Grassley. So it's not chronological age. It's the fact that people age differently, okay? And when you're in your late 80s, almost 90s, Heck, when you're in your 70s, it becomes something to start thinking about. Kelly, I just want to play this for you. This was fascinating, and it goes to the age questions. Joe Biden yesterday, after he delivered those remarks, called on a reporter. Take a look at this, and then take a look at what the cameras picked up. This is what he had in his hand.
Now we're going to take some questions. The first question is from Courtney of the Los Angeles Times.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, so he had a cheat sheet in his hand with, right there, as you can see, Courtney with her picture from the Los Angeles Times. Can you look? Every president has had notebooks. Reagan was famous. He would always have a notebook with him. Something like that. That is to overcome deficiencies in the brain right there, Kelly.
Oh,
can you imagine Donald Trump
absolutely.
using something like that or being told who to call on?
I worked in Donald Trump's White House. I was part of the communications team, and this never happened. What is more concerning about this is that the question was laid out on the note card. So right now we have a press that's complicit in Joe Biden's reelection. They somehow gave the question to the White House before it was asked, and it was almost verbatim about semiconductors and the South Korean influence with the Chinese trade. It was a verbatim question. Never, ever, ever in a Trump White House, when he stood up there for hours on end, taking every last question, did we have any idea what was going to be asked of him beforehand?
Such a good point. And I say it with Jen Psaki interviewing AOC over the weekend. Jen Psaki might get paid by MSNBC, but she still works for the Biden administration. Just the name on the bottom of her paycheck has changed.